The cap rate is your number that takes each building and makes it apples for apples comparable against each other. So what is the cap rate? Because that is one of your guiding stars. One of your most important calculations is your cap rate. I am Christina Suter, and this is the Real Estate Breakthrough Show, where we talk about the reality of real estate, the mindset you need in order to face the reality of what it is, and tips and tricks to get you moving forward in investing. I am your host, Christina Suter. Hi, this is Christina Suter with the Real Estate Breakthrough Show. So I care a lot about your education, and you know I care a lot about your education. I care about it because it makes a distinct difference in the success that you will have as a long-term real estate investor. So I have my mastermind class, which specifically is for newer investors. It's not about your age, guys. It's about, are you new to learning the process and the procedures associated with being successful in investing in real estate? That is the purpose of my mastermind class. Let me pull a very simple concept that I use in my mastermind class called the cap rate. Cap rate. The cap rate is something that is used in all multifamily buildings. It is the way that you compare each multifamily building against each other. You can compare price per door. Lots of people like that. Gross rent multiplier, another very good way of comparing apartment buildings across from each other, because one apartment building is going to have 20 doors, another apartment building is going to have 30 doors, maybe it'll have 250 doors versus 275 doors. How do you compare a proper purchase price or an actual performance when the number of units change, the number of rent per unit changes, the shape of each unit or the number of bedrooms per unit might change in comparison to another building that you're looking at purchasing? The cap rate is your number that takes each building and makes it apples for apples comparable against each other. So what is the cap rate? Because that is one of your guiding stars. One of your most important calculations is your cap rate. Now, cap rate is very, very simple. It's net income divided by purchase price. Net income divided by purchase price. That's very, very simple. Purchase price, we know what it is, but net income is sometimes confusing. So let's talk about that. Net income is your income after all expenses. Okay, cool. Net income is my income after all expenses. What are all expenses? You've got maintenance, like rehab on units that have come vacant. You've got ground keep, all of that type of stuff. You also have utilities that you need to pay for, and you have management fees. Those are all expenses, but don't forget, you also have property tax and insurance. So net income is your income after all expenses. All expenses includes maintenance, utilities, management fees, property tax, and insurance. Okay, pretty straightforward, but it also does not include your mortgage payment. Very important. Again, cap rates are about being able to have apples for apples. If I buy a building at $3 million versus I buy a building at $1 million, I'm going to have very different mortgage payments on each one of those, right? And my interest rate or the terms that the bank is offering me might change on each one of those. So they take the mortgage rate out of the conversation of net income altogether. So my actual cap rate is a process of calculating what is my net income divided by my purchase price. My net income is defined as all expenses minus my income minus all expenses. All expenses include maintenance, utility, management, property taxes, and insurance. Most importantly, it does not include my mortgage payment. And that way I can compare one property to another property using my cap rate. Now I want to cover another two topics here, another two concepts here. Purchase price. Now people are like, yeah, I purchased the building for $300,000, or I purchased the building for $3 million, just add a zero. I purchased the building, but I put money into it. I put money into the building after I purchased it. So yes, that does affect your cap rate. It doesn't affect your cap rate at the time of purchase, but it can affect your cap rate as you think about owning the building long-term. A lot of people want to do cap rate for right now. How is it performing today? And they want to do cap rate based on performer rents. Where can I take the building? Cap rate's very useful for that conversation. Let's talk about how you can use that. Cap rate right now is the existing net income divided by the existing purchase price. What about where I'm taking it though? Will I be capable of increasing my cap rate? So when I rehab it, I will have done two things. I will have increased my income. I will have also increased the money I've put into the building. So both of these numbers move. Your net income moves and your purchase price or amount of money in the building also moves. So when you go to calculate your cap rate for the ARV, after the building is done, you need to, for you and inside of your portfolio, you're going to want to look at, I've got more income coming in. I've increased rents across every unit. I'm now getting an extra, let's say $2,000 a month. It's a smaller unit. I now get an extra $2,000 a month. Yes, that's great. I now have a higher net income generally because I don't usually have my expenses increase as quickly as my rents get to increase, especially when I rehabbed a unit. So I have a higher net income. Cool. Yes. But I also have more money in the property. I bought it for $300,000. Let's say you bought it for $300,000. Not very likely with a $2,000 a month increase, but hey, let's say I bought it for $300,000, but I've now put another $50,000 into it. So now my bottom number, my purchase price, based on the performance inside of my portfolio, has increased to purchase price plus rehab costs. That is how it performs inside of my portfolio after I have done construction on it. And it tells me, have I managed to get more money off of the money I have sitting in it? Remember, cap rate here maybe was 5. I increased income by 2,000. I've increased cost by my one-time sunk cost by 50,000. I now have a different formula. My net income is higher, but my purchase price is higher, and hopefully my cap rate has gone up. Now I'm getting 6%, 7%, because the building is now giving me more. That's a second area where you can use cap rate. A third area where you can use cap rate is if you've purchased the building in order to resell the building, for every dollar of increased rent, you've increased the value of the building. You take that dollar of increased rent, and you divide it by the existing cap rate in the neighborhood that you're in, and that tells you how much you have just increased the value of the building. So another way to use cap rate is, what is your exit price or exit value? So you take the new net income. You've now repositioned the building. You now have more income, $2,000 a month more coming in. You're now looking to sell the building. Now you take your anticipated net income and you divide it by your cap rate, divide it by the new purchase price you believe you can get, and you want the cap rate to be the market cap. Another way to do the math, in case you're like not comfortable with how that works, is you take your net income and you multiply it by the cap rate, and it should give you your new purchase price. No, it's divided by the cap rate, and it should give you your new purchase price. Take your new net income, divide it by the cap rate. You now have your new purchase price. Now you know how much you've increased the value of the building by. Okay? Because you care about how much money you've put into it, but the new buyer doesn't care about how much money you've put into it. The new buyer cares how much they're going to purchase it for on their end. So now you know how much you've added value to the building for a new owner when you do the cap rate based on the new net income, based on the fact that you want to sell it in the market, and the market currently has let's say it's a 5% cap rate. Now you know I've taken my building from the $300,000 I bought it for. I put $50,000 into it. I now have $350,000 into the building, but I can sell the building on the other end for this new value because I've increased the net income. All right, guys, I hope that made a lot of sense. There's 3 different ways that you can use cap rate that are all equally important in understanding increasing value in your building and deciding whether or not you've actually made a building perform better or not. This is Christina Suter with the Real Estate Breakthrough Show. Tune in each week, either on YouTube, Roku TV, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes. Thank you very much.